we are revisiting the best things from our past to let you know whether they are the best things for your future. I'm Jeff Aviat, and with me is Josue Escobar.
Are they the best things for our future?
We're going to find out after this today.
What's up, everybody? Happy podcast day.
So, in this movie, we're going to watch The Sword in the Stone, talk about it today.
Yeah.
When Merlin turns back into full-size Merlin when he was a squirrel, and that little woman squirrel that was in love with him screams at that happens. I'm in the shower, and next to me, like a woman just terrified, like she's about to get murdered. And I'm like, I have to be calm because I'm not running over there. I'm in the shower. So is he. Yeah. I'm like, what's happening? Trying to talk him down like a 911 operator. What's going on? It's okay. Yeah. There's a bug! It was a gross looking bug when I found it later.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep it cool. Hey, it's all right. You're fine. I thought he broke something. Before we jump into The Sword in the Stone today, we got a little quiz that you have prepared this time that is going to set us up for this movie that I don't even want to talk about until we get to it.
I mean, if you haven't watched this movie,
I won't sing the song again. You have to listen to the end of last week.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen this movie, this little quiz it'll kind of get you a little acquainted with this movie. So here we go. So first question. In the 1963 animated film, The Sword in the Stone,
which we're watching today,
what were the first two words inscribed on the sword?
Whosoever pulleth.
Whosoever pulls. Whoso pulleth. Qui districtest.
What?
Selu qui tree. I think we know it's. Which one is it?
I thought
whosoever or whoso pulleth.
Whosoever.
Whoso pulleth.
Oh man. Whoso.
Whoso pulleth.
I can hear the voice saying it though. I wonder if he says the other. I'll have to go back and check.
They might say it, but this is the very first, the narrator. So maybe they read it differently.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, okay. All right.
What was Merlin doing? Second question. Doing when he first appeared on the screen?
Oh, I know this.
Trying to draw water from a well.
Boom.
Talking to his pet. Chasing birds away. Walking through the forest.
Well, I mean, he was walking through the forest, but to the well. He was drawing water from the well.
He was already drawing water from the well.
So pulling up.
Yep. And he said, I hate this time. This medieval time is terrible because
no plumbing, no electricity.
Because Merlin can travel into the future if he wants to. In 1963 animated film, The Sword in the Stone, what was the inventive name of Merlin's owl?
Oh.
Archimedes, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates.
Is the right answer always answer A? It's definitely Archimedes.
No, it's not always, but the first answer is whatever. But yes, it is Archimedes. Archimedes.
I didn't even think about this when I suggested this movie for us to watch that I have the little Funko Pops on my shelf. Yeah. I put them on the top for anybody who was watching the video. Either. Yeah, they were right behind you the whole time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so in the 1963 Disney production of The Sword in the Stone, how did the young boy enter Merlin's cottage? Through the window, using the back door, using the front door, or through the roof?
Should I pause for dramatic effect? It's through the roof.
Through the roof. Yes, you're right. All right. What was the name? What name was used for young Arthur? Blister, lump, boil, or wart?
Come over here, young blister. Not that wart is better, but why is that? I didn't find that in all my looking about this movie. Why they called him the wart? The wart.
Because he was a stepchild. I don't know. Maybe he had a wart on his foot that we didn't know about. The Sword in the Stone.
You probably did.
What were the names of the two dogs that greeted young Arthur?
No, this is
on his return to the castle.
Okay,
you get this: Tiger and Talbot, Pluto or Goofy, Tom and Jerry, Fred and Barney.
Oh come on! As soon as you said the first one, I'm like, here we are with the first one again. But they made it is this quiz for 5-year-olds?
I don't know.
Guys, ask your children these questions if you have them. They'll appreciate these.
Tiger and Talbot.
Yeah. Tiger, Talbot!
The Sword in the Stone, what was the name of the man that brought urgent news to the Lord of the Castle from London?
Big news from London! Put down the drawbridge! Garbage man.
Yeah. Percival, Cador, Bedivere, or Pellinor.
Eleanor.
Pellinor's correct.
Pellinor.
The voice acting in this movie is great.
That is cool.
In The Sword and the Stone, as part of young Arthur's training, Merlin turned the boy in quick succession into 3 animals that resided around the castle. Which one of these was not used?
In quick succession?
That's what it says. Toad, squirrel, fish, or bird? Which one was not?
The first one again?
I didn't realize this when I looked this quiz up.
A toad. We're never a toad.
In the film, what was the name of the witch with which Merlin had a duel with?
With which Merlin had a duel with?
Yeah.
With which Merlin had a duel with? I have a grammatical issue with this quiz.
Madame Bovary?
You know, you don't end a sentence with a preposition, but certainly not with a preposition that you already used in the sentence.
It's so great.
With which, with. Sorry, go on.
Which Merlin had to do it.
With.
Endora Morgan Le Fay, which is another character somewhere else.
I was going to say, also, Endora, isn't that the mom from Bewitched?
I think so.
Or probably also in something else.
Or Madame Mim.
Magnificent, marvelous, mad, Madam Mim.
Oh, dude. In this production of The Sword and the Stone, young Arthur forgot the sword of his master's son in the inn, which was closed because of the tournament.
Yeah.
And he was searching for the one, for one when the owl spotted a sword. Where was the sword that Archimedes saw?
Hey. Go ahead, go see
In a churchyard.
Oh,
On
no.
top of St. Paul's. In a lake or hanging from a tree. So dumb.
I think it was in the churchyard.
Correct, Mundo.
In some versions of the Arthurian legend, there is a lady of the lake. So with the sword, you know, in Monty Python, that whole quote about how he received the lady of the lake extended Excalibur, and he's like, we don't base a system of government on like aquatic tart, you know, handing out swords, and no basis for a system of government.
So you got every single one correct,
except I did miss the whosoever pulleth.
Oh, the first one. Yep.
Whosoever pulleth. I'm pretty sure he says that. I hope I'm right, because then it'll make me feel.
So I guess I got it perfect the first time I did it.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
This quiz type has a base value of 15 points per question. So you scored 150 points.
All right. Yeah. Congratulations.
Apparently the average score is 7 out of 10. So I don't know if people are missing.
I just feel like it can't be A again. Yeah, it's A.
Always go with A.
I mean, if you've seen The Sword and the Stone, it's a little predictable. The sword's getting pulled out. So, you know, A.
The Sword and the Stone was about a little boy who pulled the sword out of the stone when no one expected it to. He was working with a wizard who turned him into a fish and a squirrel and a bird. He went through a lot of crazy things to end up to pull the sword out of the stone and become the king of England. And my favorite part was when he turned into a squirrel and the girl squirrel, who was actually a real squirrel, fell in love with him. But then when he turned back into a human boy, the girl squirrel was devastated.
This movie was made in 1963.
Yeah.
You said this.
Yeah.
Is very old. It is, I would look this up and we'll talk about maybe some other Disney movies from the time, because 101 Dalmatians came out 2 years prior, 1961. For me as a kid, I can't remember. I remember both of those movies, watching them, but this movie for Jeff, this was like monumental. I've seen this movie more times than I could count, probably.
I think I have too, is watching this again, and I just seem to, like, everything just came coming back of like, oh, I remember this. I must have seen this movie maybe a dozen times as a kid.
And I'll explain to the younger folks in the audience, back in the day when you were a kid and you wanted to watch something, you had a literal shelf or drawer of tapes that you could choose from. Hey, we're going to stop playing outside for a bit. We're going to get off our playing cops and robbers, whatever you were doing outside of your bikes. And you came inside to watch a movie. Hero, what do you want to watch today? And they were all movies that you've seen.
Exactly.
And you're just going to pull it. I can still, the plasticky Disney case.
Oh, wow.
Where you would open the thing, pop, and
remember
then pull it out, stick the VHS. We're going to watch The Sword in the Stone. I would watch this one a lot.
Back in the day, we did not care about packaging materials. We did not care
about the environmental implications.
Yeah. The most plastic you can get.
Yeah, let's put more plastic on that. The kids will love it.
White petroleum-based plastic all over this thing.
Disney has always had a thing, though, about their packaging, too, and making it stand out. Because you would have your normal VHS tapes in their sleeve, and then you have this big, fat, almost looked like a book.
And they were almost padded.
Yeah. And that was probably part of the deal, too. Let's make it feel like a storybook, and it kind of stood out. So good on them.
And you always knew, like, if you were trying to put the VHS back in the wrong way.
The wrong direction, yeah.
You always knew if you were doing it wrong. Like, oh, nope, I got to flip it around.
That's very true. So I looked up the director for this, and there, as in a lot of other Disney things, there are multiple people involved.
Yeah.
But the first name on the director list, which I believe was basically the primary director, Wolfgang Reitherman.
I thought you were going to say Wolfgang Puck.
No. Wolfgang, I don't know how you would pronounce Reitherman, who is also responsible for Aristocats, which came out in 1970, which I've never seen, actually. The Jungle Book,
no, we all
1967. I've seen that a lot. And Sleeping Beauty, which was in 1959. Wow. Those are his top credits, so I'm sure other stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's two other directors on this, Clyde Geronimi, and David Hand. David Hand was on Bambi in 1942 and Snow White in 1937. So old, but classic. And then Clyde Geronimi, Cinderella 1950, Alice in Wonderland 1951, Peter Pan 1953, and then Sleeping Beauty in 1959.
Dang.
I just say all that to go, wow. I mean, no wonder, this is a movie I would come back to. This is like classic Disney era.
Yeah, it was.
So I wasn't watching it till the 80s.
Did you notice how much of I'm wondering about the animators, because the style of animation, I could almost see the same type of the deer, the squirrel animation in a lot of these movies.
No, it's very funny that you say that. And I think a lot of it had to do with budget cuts.
Oh, really?
Yep. They would, because if you notice, there's one time where Kay's eating a turkey leg, whatever, and it looks really familiar. It's pulled right from another, I can't even remember what movie it is. So you're watching this, or you're watching Wart walk around, and then if you look at the Jungle Book and you see Mowgli, and you go, oh, it's almost like it's the same animation.
Dang.
Similar directors, obviously same voices, because the guy who plays Sir Ector is also the voice of Bagheera in The Jungle King.
Wow.
Or Jungle King.
Jungle Book. The Jungle King.
It's a whole other thing. The Jungle Book, yeah. So they're reusing a lot of stuff. So if you're noticing something like that, I would almost think, it's probably the exact thing.
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, though, why change something that was really good?
Well,
just trying to help him out.
This really worked well, so let's just copy and paste it into something else. The Wart, is voiced by 3 different boys in this movie. Could you tell?
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Come on. You didn't hear his voice go from pre-pubescent to deep?
No.
Dude, if you're other kids, because I know you said you watched this with Eva. If you watch it with the other 2, you just pay attention to Wart's voice.
Man, I can't believe I missed that.
It's one of those things, especially as a kid, that I had watched so many times that I never thought about.
Where does it change in the beginning, middle, end?
All over the place.
Really?
Yes.
Because I'm trying to hear his voice in my head when he first meets Merlin. He's really I'm sorry, sir. I'll do whatever. He's very childish. I don't know. And then when he gets the sword at the end, I'm trying to hear that voice.
I can hear him when Merlin comes and he's like, Merlin! That's the higher pitched tone, right? But then when he's is it a forest scene or something where he's, you just have to watch it.
Man, they really got me.
It happens so much. So if anybody has watched this movie or whatever, go back and watch. His voice changes. I didn't even write it down because I thought you were going to notice it.
No.
So I didn't even make bookmarks of what happened.
Crazy. Now I'm going to watch this again.
Yeah. Merlin may be one of my favorite characters in Disney media. And I will say, because after this, like this is the first version of the Sword and the Stone King Arthur I ever knew. But I've always been into King Arthur stories, probably because of this. Probably also because it has existed for, when did you say it was first written? It was like 1100.
1100 something, 1115. Crazy. But so, for me too, like anything that has to do with Arthur or Merlin, Arthur's story, I'm always interested because I want to see more of Merlin.
Yeah.
Like I forget what movie it was that I saw that was a live action movie about King Arthur, all this stuff. And Merlin was like a side character.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of bummed.
It must always be the case because this is the only version of King Arthur that I can think of Merlin being like, he's like the main character.
Yeah, he's the kind of the linchpin, I guess. And it's really funny because at the end of the movie, we're skipping ahead, but the end of the movie when he goes to Bermuda in the 21st century or whatever, and he comes back and he's like, what are we doing in this? Oh, that's right. King Arthur and then the Knights of the Round Table. How did I not know? It's like, really? you forgot that detail? You were waiting for him at your house. He's going to be here in half an hour. I'm going to set up and you're like, there's something special about this boy. You'll see.
Yeah, you're right.
And then he doesn't remember that, oh yeah, this kid is supposed to be King Arthur.
Some description that I saw when I was looking for details on IMDb describes Merlin as an amnesiac. And I was like, what is he talking about? Is he that forgetful? And I'm like, oh,
he really is.
He really is.
Yeah, because he's always like, what's that spell? How do I do that thing?
Hockety, pockety.
Yeah, hockety, pockety. They do the music and beats really well together. I mean, the composers were so good with this stuff. Had you ever seen Saving Mr. Banks?
Yeah.
You know how they kind of show how they made the music over the
Yep.
I'm picturing that's how these guys were working in the studios.
Funny that you say that, Josue, because this is the first Disney animated feature with songs by Richard M. Sherman and Robert B. Sherman, who created some of the best songs in Disney, and including Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
And so you get this combination. You got it of like classical. You've still got the Disney, the orchestral, the strings.
Yeah.
But then you get this jazz vibe in there that's so nice. Yep. And my kids love that too. It's so good.
The only thing I don't want to go back to with old movies like this is the minute 42-second intro cards before anything starts. Oh my gosh.
I kind of like
credits upon credits.
Yeah, now it's at the end of the movie and you just skip it or you wait through it to find the extra scene.
And I didn't have a little skip intro button on that flashed up on my TV. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So forward
Did you?
Until it happened.
Oh, I let it play.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's cut to the beginning.
Me to the movie.